what happens when you forget the code on your Travel Inspira and you can't open it up again? And how do you open it? First off, I don't know, but we're gonna find out. See if anything we can do can work. Of course, you could use the TSA key here if you have one. But I put the code in at 705, and that's what used to open it. But I was like, okay, I might forget what the code is. Let me just put it to default again. So I changed the code and everything, put it back to 000. But everything went back the way it was supposed to go, and I closed it. But now it doesn't seem to open anymore. So I'm not sure if it's some kind of weird little issue that's gonna happen a lot for some reason, that you just lock yourself out. But we're gonna see what happens if there's a way to open it. I tried different things, like tried pulling on it, try to like maybe hear some clicks or something that make it work. But of course, if you have the TSA key here, you can open it that way. And if you forget the code, there's no way to change the passcode because it just gets locked. So I'm not sure if something got stuck and it just locked in place. But I noticed that it has these screws in the back. So I'm wondering if I take these screws off, if there's something in there that can help us unlock it. If we somehow forget the code, or in case it does something weird. Like I'm for sure I put it back on 000. I looked at it, clicked it back, because once you put the new code in, it won't go in, it won't lock into place until the code is correct. Then you can close it. And then I checked it and it was good. But for some reason, it decided that it did not want that to be the code anymore. Somebody came in and snuck in and changed the code on me. Alright, so we're just gonna unscrew the screws here, and there's this little quality check sticker here. Just gonna unscrew that. Should have got a better screwdriver. Alright, so we took the screws out. We got the 3 screws here. We got the plate. We're removing the plate. As you can see here. This is where it unlocks the key. But it ends up taking out this counter here. So how does this unlock? How does this unlock? Or did it slide out of place? That's why it didn't lock. Okay, as you can see, it just comes out easily. There's nothing really holding it into place. This is the top. Oops. This is the bottom. This little part that covers it. Alright, let's just put it back into place here. So how did this work? Get a closer look. So the number ended up being 921. And it's a little hard to see, but there's 2 independent parts here. There's this part and the gear that's kind of like in the middle of it. And it's a little hard to see, but there's like a prominent in the middle here. There's a prominent line, and that needs to be on the top of where the number is. So each of the numbers have this big, thick, prominent groove at the top. Get groovy with the thick line here. My camera doesn't focus on macro that closely, but that's how you know that the numbers are right. And I'm going to assume what happened is that it fell out of the groove when I was switching the numbers. So it was at 00 at some point, but it just slipped the track and it just ended up sliding into a different number. And that's how the numbers ended up changing. But of course, to change the numbers, you go from A to B. And what that essentially does, when you switch it to A to B, these middle tracks don't move anymore. It'll keep them still as you select the numbers that you want. So the thick, prominent lines, grooves, will stay in place. And then when you slide it back to B to A, and then it's normal again. Alright, so before it goes back in, there's these little... See, it's sticking out. That's why I wouldn't go in, because these little things were sticking out. You gotta make sure you gotta slide it back in so it's flat. Alright. Then we're gonna put one of the flat sides towards the... here, I guess. Then we'll put this on there. Something like that. Nice and flat. So this can go down. Let's just get rid of this sticker. It's going to be in the way. Put the screw back in. Alright, has some little bit of a pushback. Yeah, like it. So it's gonna hold it in place. Just screw it back in. I'm gonna do one last check. Alright, it's closed. 0, 0, 0. Unlocks. Let's change the code a little bit. I mean, not change the code, but let's just change the numbers. So that doesn't open. Alright, that is how you fix, or that's one of the ways to fix the travelinspira luggage strap. If it ever, I guess, it goes off track when you change the numbers, and you don't have to know how to, you don't know what the code is anymore, or you just forget what the code is without having to buy a new one or having to cut it. Hopefully, make sure you check and double check and check some more before you put it on your luggage. Make sure the code is right, because if it's stuck on your luggage when the code changes, then you're just gonna have to cut it off or get a key, TSA, to unlock it. That's one way to do it.